Ultimate Reset day 11 and day 12. Day 11 was, of course, my Warrior Dash, and breakfast was pretty much what it has been over the last few days. Nice large plate of fruit, and I added a little extra fruit and some of the mashed chickpeas with some olive oil in there, just to give me a little bit extra energy before that race on that day. And woke up at the normal time, felt great, and for the most part, did my physical therapy on my shoulder, and left the house here about 7 o'clock in the morning. My race was at 10:30, so I had to take basically all of my supplements with me that day. And that's not a whole lot different than when I take them to work, so it wasn't a big deal. But I wasn't able to have the meal for lunch as it was directed in the nutrition guide. So I basically took some veggies and some hummus and some leftover beans and rice from a few days ago, and just ate that basically after my race. The race itself felt really good. I was a little bit surprised that I didn't have a crash in energy midway through, halfway through, whatever, but felt strong pretty much the entire time. This was a little bit more hilly and muddy than I expected it to be, and so it was only 3.5 miles, but with all the extra hills and the mud, it felt like it was a little bit longer. Survived, ran it in 42:44. I still don't know where that time put me in terms of overall standings, but I was pretty happy with my time, and had a lot of fun. Definitely doing it again next year, if not before, maybe some other race. Dinner for that evening was basically a vegetable miso soup, and I had the miso soup before, and it was basically just the miso paste with some hot water in there, but this actually added quite a few vegetables to the mix, so was better than the normal miso soup, a little bit more filling, and I actually added some steamed vegetables because it called for like Swiss chard, but I don't even know what that is. I couldn't find it, so I ended up having just some steamed broccoli and cauliflower, and added that to the dinner. So day 11, again, overall pretty good day, and didn't have any issues with fatigue like I thought I might during the race, which got me second guessing whether or not I could be able to work out during the reset. But I'm going to try my hardest to stick with my initial plan and go through the end of the month to give my shoulder some rest. So it's been tough. That Warrior Dash really kind of got my juices flowing with wanting to get back at it. So I'm going to stick with it. But so day 12 was yesterday, which was a Sunday, and I was a little bit sore. Woke up a little bit sore from the race. My hips were sore. My calves were sore as well, and so it was a little bit of a lazy day around here. Didn't do a whole lot, even though I felt like I needed to get out and do stuff. Didn't really make that happen. Breakfast, breakfast for the most part is going to be the same going forward. So it's just a fresh fruit. Yesterday's breakfast was a little bit sparse because we were dwindling low on fruit. So it was not as colorful as it has been the last few days, but it was still good, and I added again the mashed chickpeas just to give me a little bit more substance for the rest of the day, and then I went out and got my shopping done for the next several days of the reset and stocked up on everything. And one thing I noticed about this last week of the reset, nearly everything on the shopping list was from the produce section of the grocery store. Now again, because the last 2 weeks of the reset are pretty much a plant-based diet, that makes sense. And I assume there's still some other supplies that I purchased the previous 2 weeks that I'll use, but almost 95% of the things that are on that list are in the produce section. And so lunch was this quinoa lentil pilaf. I'm sorry, that's not true. Lunch was again the hearty vegetable miso, and so that was basically. I had to make it all over again. So if I had looked ahead, which I didn't, I should have made a double batch and then just warmed it up, but I didn't. So I had to remake it. So make sure you're looking ahead, because you can always double up on some of those recipes and have it for the next day. And then for dinner, I totally skipped what was in the recipe guide. It was supposed to be a roasted beets and coconut collard greens with some quinoa, and I just did not feel like making it. It did not look appetizing. It did not look like it was going to be enough for me. So I skipped it, and I ended up making the quinoa lentil pilaf that I had a couple nights before. Right or wrong, that's what I did. So it just didn't look good to me. And then actually, I'm gonna probably be doing the same thing tonight, because it was some sort of squash thing that I couldn't find. So tonight's probably gonna be a wing it meal for dinner. But what are you gonna do? So yeah, day 11 and day 12. Again, I was a little bit sore yesterday, and not too bad this morning. My hips are still a little bit sore. Do some stretching here in a few minutes to try and work some of that out, but it's going well. Tomorrow is the last day of phase 2, and I think officially I'm down 7 pounds. I weighed myself this morning, it was 158. So that has me a little concerned, but not too crazy. I don't know where the weight's coming off from. Maybe my legs, who knows. Officially down 7 pounds, and I'm going to keep monitoring that. Maybe have to up my intake a little bit just to make sure I'm not dropping too much. Anyway, all in all, it's going well, and we'll see you back here tomorrow for day 13 review. Thanks.